President Donald Trump has ordered the deployment of 2,000 National Guard troops to Los Angeles after a second day of violent protests. The White House said Trump issued the order because California's Democrat leaders had failed to protect citizens. The protests began after officers from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, better known as ICE, arrested dozens of people in raids across the city. Demonstrators gathered outside a migrant detention centre demanding their release.
This Los Angeles boulevard is shrouded in smoke and covered with flashbang and tear gas cartridges. For the second day in a row, police faced off with demonstrators. The unrest was sparked by a series of immigration raids carried out by ICE in downtown Los Angeles and the Westlake district in recent days.
ICE, out of Paramount! You are not welcome here!
Following the latest arrests of migrants and undocumented people, lawmakers say they believe a local detention center is overcrowded. When they tried to investigate this personally, they were reportedly refused entry.
You cannot just come into the community and terrorize citizens the way you did. You cannot just continue to come in and profile people, not knowing if you are arresting American citizens. We have no idea who you have kidnapped. It is time for some accountability.
While critics call for transparency, the White House press secretary Caroline Leavitt announced that President Trump has signed a presidential memorandum deploying 2,000 National Guardsmen to address the lawlessness that has been allowed to fester.
At the southern border.
Trump's anti-immigration executive order has led to a surge in arrests by ICE, as well as less discretion in carrying them out. While many of Trump's supporters hail the intensified enforcement, the increasing number of arrests in broad daylight have created fear among immigrant communities and have raised concerns about due process.
Let's get more on this from Jeanette Zanipatin. She's an immigration lawyer and a director of policy at the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles. Jeanette, good to see you. I want to start by asking for your reaction to the White House, a Trump administration official describing what's going on as an insurrection. Is that the way you see it?
No, not at all. We think it's very important for people to understand that this administration's sole purpose is to conduct the biggest mass deportation in United States history. They are doing it by, circumventing the Constitution, not allowing people to exercise their due process. There is no checks and balances within the judicial system when it comes to immigration court. The federal administration is asking judges to dismiss cases of people who have followed all the rules, legally applied for immigration benefits, and now they are asking judges to dismiss these cases for immigration remedies that people have applied for. There are no checks and balances. Once a case is dismissed, folks are leaving the courthouses and they are getting arrested in the hallways of the same federal buildings where justice is being denied. They are not having access to their attorneys. Their attorneys are asking to be able to speak to their clients, to be able to understand what's going on, why they are being arrested, where they are being detained, and they are prohibited from talking to their clients. These are folks that have legal representation, and attorneys are unable to get information, critical information about their clients and where their clients will be taken in order to preserve their right to an appeal and their right to stay in this country. So if anything, what is happening is we are seeing this administration erode our checks and balances between the federal branch and our court system. And we're also seeing them erode all the protections and rights that folks have, especially immigrants, under the Constitution.
Do you still have faith? We talked a little about those checks and balances. When it gets to this situation where it's in the courts, do you still have faith that that check and balance remains in place and remains strong enough to fight off what's happening?
Yes, I mean, I think in terms of this administration, they have been using different tactics, right, to arrest people, to have their cases dismissed, to use what we call expedited removal in the United States, which basically circumvents a deportation hearing process to immediately remove people from the United States who have been in the country less than 2 years. So they are changing their tactics because their sole purpose is to conduct mass deportations and increase those numbers. You know, they promised during the election that they would conduct the largest scale mass deportation effort in our nation's history. At the beginning of the Trump administration, they were not achieving those numbers. It's about a numbers game. They don't care if you have a legal immigration case in the court process, if you have filed a legal remedy through the administrative process, whether you've been here for longer than 2 years, whether you have a green card. We are seeing even U.S. citizens get arrested by ICE enforcement. And so their sole purpose, again, is to circumvent our judicial system and place people in peril. I mean, we're seeing families being separated. We're seeing children ripped apart from their families. We're seeing parents getting arrested in front of their children, traumatized. We also have children that are in detention as well. And so this administration is trying to make sure that the public's focus is not on their tactics, but on calling this an insurrection. People have a right to protest and to exercise their First Amendment rights. That's what people are doing in Los Angeles. And I think it's pretty clear that this administration is just trying to spin what's happening on the ground in Los Angeles.
When you know the administration, or in your words, are trying to spin the situation, do you think it makes it harder for you to do your work and easier for them to spin the situation when there are violent protests going on?
Of course, it's easier for them to spin the protests that we're seeing, but you have to understand, their sole purpose is to instill fear, is to conduct these mass deportation raids, to go into communities where people are working at jobs, people have lawfully followed all the rules that they need to follow in order to apply for immigration relief. Yet this is meaningless with this administration. And so I think it's really important that we understand that, in the wake of this, people have a right to protest. People have a right to ask what is happening with their loved ones. Attorneys have a right to understand where their clients are being taken in order to preserve their rights. We do have processes in this country that that could still preserve their immigration cases or their rights to stay in this country. But this administration right now is just erasing what is happening on the ground. They're trying to erase the number of people that are being detained. The media in the United States is not focusing on what is happening to immigrants and their family, and that is a problem. We are seeing that this administration is acting like a totalitarian regime. We are seeing the erosion of our Constitution, and people have a right to speak out when they are using tactics and changing tactics day by day at this moment to really try to arrest as many individuals as possible.
Jeanette Zanipatin from the Coalition of Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles. Great to talk to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
We're now joined by Jayson Campadonia from NBC News and iHeart Radio in Los Angeles. Jayson, dozens of people arrested yesterday. What can we expect today?
Well, we've already seen some unrest this morning. We had some federal agents show up to a Home Depot, big box store, to arrest some of the day workers that hang out outside. As soon as the ICE agents showed up, protesters quickly followed. Police then, local police, LAPD, showed up and tried to disperse the crowd. The crowd decided not to leave. So local police had to resort to deploying canisters of tear gas. So tensions are extremely high right now. It looks like the pro-immigration activists are saying, these are mothers, these are fathers, these are workers in your community. How can you do that to them? And the federal government is saying, it's true that they're all of these things, but they're also in the country illegally. That makes them criminals, and we can't have criminals in this country. So tensions are extremely high between the two sides.
Now, Washington seems to register. A White House aide has called the demonstrations an insurrection. Is he right to be worried?
Well, I would say that this is not going to calm down anytime soon. I really, truly believe that the people that feel that the people in the country illegally have a right to be here. And on some level, I'm sure that that's true. But the government is saying absolutely not. That makes them criminals, right? So the people who believe things passionately are the ones who are out there demonstrating and fighting with local authorities. I don't believe that is going to stop anytime soon. There are tens of thousands of people here in Los Angeles alone, let alone California, in the country illegally. And so when the federal government goes to Central California, where I believe 70% of the world's almonds are produced, you can't tell me that everybody who works on those farms is an American citizen. I don't believe that for a second. So when those types of businesses are starting to be affected, maybe we will see some sort of leniency given or some sort of program that may come from the White House. I'm not sure. I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth. But I can tell you that the people who believe that the people here illegally deserve to be here believe it passionately and with their whole being. And that's a force that's very difficult to slow down.
Now, briefly, if you can this grow beyond Los Angeles, this unrest?
Oh, 100%. I'm sure we'll see it in other big cities such as Chicago, New York, Philadelphia, Dallas, these types of major metropolis that have a lot of undocumented immigrants in the city, helping run businesses, washing the dishes, working at the hotels and things like that. I'm sure that this is just the tip of the iceberg. I think the belief is you go after what's called a sanctuary city, a big one like Los Angeles, and the others will fall. But I honestly believe that the passion will overcome logical thinking in some respect.
Jayson Campadonia there in Los Angeles for us. Thank you, Jayson.
Thank you.